Welcome back to Where Robins Walk. We're going to rename Bristol City Halftime FC. Why is it that Bristol City can only play for 45 minutes per game? To explore that, we've got our fans back. Welcome to the quickest and shortest, most compact review of all Bristol City content which you'll find on the internet. Where Robins Walk. Roll titles.
I am a silent drinker. I'm drinking all over me. I am a silent drinker.
Welcome back, Liam, who is abroad on bank holiday for bank holiday weekend, but managed to catch the game live from Ibiza. How are you, Liam?
Yeah, well, good. Thank you. Yourself?
Yeah, really good. I'm going to ask you, of course, to go through what Bristol City need in the transfer window as the deadline closes this Friday. Also ask you about your recent signings from Oxford United and get you to talk about just why aren't Bristol City capable of playing a full 90 minutes for the same pace and power that they do for the first half of games. We'll get into that in a second. But, taking a point against Coventry, wouldn't you, at the start of the game?
Yeah, 100%. Watching it first, like I said, first half, we were pretty much in control of the game, really. So it was a bit miffed to take a point. But yeah, if you'd offered me at the beginning, I would have bitten your hand off and taken it. Definitely.
Yeah, and the commentary fans think they've got away with the point there. You did deserve all three in the end, didn't you?
Yeah, definitely. I think their only shot on target was Palmer's goal. We could have had chances to clear the ball before he'd put it in the net himself, and it had to be him, didn't it? So,
well, he keeps coming back to haunt you, don't you? Why does he get booed? Explain that to me, because the terms he left on weren't acrimonious, were they?
I wouldn't say they left on bad terms. I think we had him on loan. We showed a lot of promise. Then we signed him, and he couldn't get in the team. I just think it was his work ethic. I think off the ball, to me, he's an old-fashioned. You look at the old players like Paul Mercy. He's a bit of a maverick in that sense. Defensively, he was very naive. So he didn't really fit into Pearson's way of playing. Yeah. They just wanted to get him off the cards, I guess. And that's for me. That's pretty much it. Just his work ethic didn't go down too well.
And then, just as we saw in the Carabao Cup, and just as we saw against Millwall, and just as carried on against Coventry, the first half scintillating football for Bristol City, and then they go in for half time and they come out looking the shadow of their former selves. What do you put that down to,
Liam? I honestly don't know. We can all sit and scratch our heads about it. Like you said, we've seen it in every game this season. Like I said, first game against Coventry, we were all over them in the first half. Didn't get the goal. They made changes, took control, and then Millwall conceded 3 goals in 20 minutes after being 2-0 up, coasting. And then Saturday, it was a hell of a strike by Tanner. I'll start off by saying that. What a volley that was. And I thought going in 1-up, I think we deserved it. Whether Mark Robbins went in and gave him a bit of an earful, I'm not sure. But yeah, we looked like 11 strangers for majority of the second half to me.
Yeah, is it fitness as well? Some people have suggested that perhaps towards the ends of games you don't look as sharp as other teams. Is that ring true for you? Or?
I don't know if it's down to fitness. I think it's how aggressive we are with the press. Obviously, it's going to take its toll on everyone, but maybe for the latter stages. But I mean, they're all professional athletes, so I wouldn't say so. Not this early on in the season. I think it's more down to because they're pressing all the time. Maybe they just then sit back and pick and choose. It is frustrating to see, though. Very.
Absolutely, because if you would have played the second half as your first, you would be sitting with Sunderland at the top of the league. I'm sure on maximum points. Just to win on Williams, though. I'm sure you've seen how he got away with it. I don't know. I mean, he's had a lot to say in games, hasn't he? Yellow cards, created a goal, given away a penalty. What the man's going to do next?
he's definitely a player you'd rather have in your team than play against. For me personally, I like it. I like someone with a little bit of edginess. I think at times last season I think we were too soft. So I think having a player like Williams in there to maybe not necessarily rough people up, but to let them know he's there, it's quite good. But I think, yeah, he definitely got away with that one on Saturday. After seeing different angles of it, definitely.
Yeah, I think Haji Wright's chin took a bit of roughing up in that one. We'll get on to some transfers then in a second and ask you what your thoughts are. But we're asking you. Thanks for your comments, of course, last week on defenders. This week we're asking you, what's the best deadline day signing that Bristol City have made? Think back to the last week, last day, last hours. We'll ask Liam at the end of the video for his thoughts on this one. But in the comments below, who's had the biggest impact as a final week deadline day signing? Okay. All right, let's review then social media. Bit mixed this week, as you would expect. Here's Rate My Take. Some people suggesting here, Mike, Liam says, it's disappointing game management. Twine off, Lewis says, Lewis press 3, thank you, Lewis. Another questionable Manning sub. There's quite a few of these as well. First of all, we'll talk about Wells. Do you agree with those points of view that bad game management cost you 3 points?
Yeah, I'd say to a degree, but I think Coventry, again, for some reason came out looking like they wanted it more. But I think they'd had a bit of an earful at half time. So they were always going to come out and attack us. But I think we weren't particularly great in some aspects of our game. So yeah, possibly a little bit of game management went amiss.
Welcome, Ethan. Would you agree with this? That Manning cost you some points?
I think fully on board with that, to be honest. I don't think he managed it as well as he has done previously. I think, you're bringing off Twine and Bird, the heartbeats in the team. And since we took on them two off in particular, I think we weren't at our best at all.
Okay. What about this one then? Steve Colgate says, decent point, although it never feels that way from being ahead. Thought we were very good first half. Wells is awful, though, and there were a lot of tweets, Liam, about Wells. He shouldn't be close to being included in the squad. I'd rather see Cornick than Wells, and I'm no Higgsy fan. Bird and Twine went off and we lost our composure. Where do you stand on the criticism of Wells? Is it? I mean, no one can accuse him of all what he's given Bristol City in the past, but is this season probably season too far for him?
No, I wouldn't say so personally. I don't mind Wells. He gives you something different. He is very clever in his movement at times. He's not the biggest lad, so sometimes we don't give him the best service. But I don't think he's awful. I know everyone's entitled to their own opinions, but I don't particularly agree with that myself because I think he is useful to have around the building.
Okay. Ethan Martin here says, we know the attacking players who were here last year are lacking, which is what makes the 60-minute substitutions more frustrating. Why not bring Earthy into that number 10 spot? We were chasing a goal, but Wells certainly isn't the answer to that position, saying that it was a fair result. Can you jump on board with that?
Yeah, to a certain degree. I think Wells obviously offers something slightly different to Earthy. When you're 1-0 up and you're trying to hold out the game, I think Wells is very good for holding the ball up and sort of buying a foul when you need to, and when it's against you a little bit. I probably would have rather seen George Earthy because he's a bit more magic than Naki Wells, but I'm on board with Liam, really. I'm not completely anti-Naki Wells. I think he's helpful in certain parts of the game and you really need him. But yeah, I don't think it was probably right for him to come on in the 10 on Saturday.
Okay. All right, fair enough then. Derby County then this weekend. It's a ground that you've actually done all right in. Derby got a terrible record against Bristol City. Liam, what changes would you make, especially attacking? I think defence sorts itself out these days, but what do you want as your attacking line for this one?
I'd start Mulu from the beginning. I'd give him a go. Definitely, Sinclair ran himself into the ground. Took a bit of a knock on Saturday as well. So I think depending on how he is with that knock, I haven't heard of anything of yet. But yeah, for me, I'd be starting Mulu. Just rotate the two. Other than that, I'd probably keep it much the same. Obviously, at the back, I think Dickie's done his hamstring by the looks of it. But if it's down to me, I'd be putting Robertson alongside Zach Viner rather than Naismith, because Naismith's gone for me. He'll cost us more than he will gain us. So yeah, for me, it'd be Robertson with Viner.
Would you go along with that, Ethan?
Yeah, that's perfect for me.
All right. Somebody suggested that Mueller wasn't happy in the game on Saturday. His body language suggested that he wasn't entirely on board with what was going on. Any suggestions from what you saw watching that,
Liam? Maybe his body language a little bit. I think maybe, or even I think with him scoring when he's come on, maybe he thinks he deserves a bit of a chance from the beginning. It was a little bit frustrating for me when he came on the weekend. He was trying too many little flicks. A few times the ball could have gone into him. He could have held it up and then laid it off, possibly spun him behind, created some space. But he keeps trying these little flicks and people just weren't on the same wavelength. And that's when we kept surrendering possession. But yeah, I can see why people are saying it, definitely.
It's a big week, though, for Bristol City, isn't it? You've got you don't have to worry about the Carabao Cup for once. So the focus now on the next 4 days is Friday, deadline day. Ethan, if the Robins are finally to get out of this league and challenge in those playoff positions, at least, what signings do they need to make in what position by Friday?
I'd like to back myself as a little bit of an optimist. So I think our squad at the minute is actually looking, I think, the best I've ever seen it in my time supporting this club. I think there's solid foundations and you've got to go for it. Maybe 1 or 2 additions just for a bit of depth, but I'm fairly happy with the squad.
Wow. Liam?
I think I've mentioned it in the past. I think defensively I'm a little bit... I know last year we had the 4th best defence, but it's not looking like that at the moment this season. McCory injured. We don't know how long he's going to be out for. Naismith hasn't really played since November. So he's only really coming back into it. His injury record's been terrible. Atkinson's injured again, so I think probably another centre-back if it was down to me. Maybe even one in permanent, one in on loan, depending on how bad Dickie is. But for me, yeah, I think we need defensive cover, definitely.
Fingers crossed for that. Then you've had a couple. Well, you've had Gardner Hickman leave. Ethan, since we last spoke to you, he's gone to Birmingham. I'm guessing that's no loss.
Yes and no. I don't think he was quite clicking in Manning's system. I know he was a Manning signing, but he didn't really have along with him, and he'll do well there. You know what I mean? He's going to do really well in League One, and I'm happy he's getting minutes. So, yeah, no animosity.
And then the signing from Oxford, since we last spoke to you, Liam, Marcus McGuane, with the Oxford fans. So I'm not going to be very happy about losing, but he's linked up with his old manager, and it's in a midfield position, which there's a lot of competition for, isn't there? In that role.
Yeah.
Is he going to be a main starter? Is he? Is he back up?
To me, it was a bit of a strange one to see Hickman leaving. I think, like Ethan said, I don't think he was quite fitting into a Manning system. But then we bring in McGuane, and he's Oxford's. No disrespect to Oxford, he's their probably 5th, 6th choice. Wasn't even getting in the squad this year. So to me, it's a bit of an odd one. I can't imagine he'll get in ahead of what we've got now. I could be wrong. Manning knows what he's like, though, so maybe there is something behind it. But for me, it's a bit of an odd one, definitely. So jury's out on that one. We'll have to wait and see.
Yeah. The Oxford fans' anger, of course, could all be taken out on you in a couple of weeks' time after the international break, as they seek their revenge for you pillaging their club for the last 6 months. At the start of the video, though, we asked, and if you're new to the channel, by the way, I should have said, please do subscribe to us. It really means a lot to us. We know there's really good Bristol City content out there. We fully support anyone who's a content maker, but we love making this content. We'll check it to Ethan and to Liam and to Sam and others each week, as we will do for the remaining. What have we got left? 43 games of the season now. Okay, you two, then pressure on. What's the best deadline day signing that Bristol City have ever made. We'll give you some thinking time on this one. But Liam, does one spring to mind? I've got one in my head, and I wonder if it matches yours.
I'm struggling to think back to who and when we signed players. I don't think the only one that really springs to mind is Cass, but I don't think he was a late deal. I think he was quite an early one on. But off the top of my head, I haven't done any research on it this week. I'm afraid.
You tend to be more organised.
Yeah, I'd say I'm away in IB for at the moment. So
no, that's not in you. I mean, it's the club tend to be more organised because they don't leave things till last minute generally. Ethan, can you recall any deadline day signings that have had an impression?
I definitely can. I remember it was obviously deadline day. I was watching. Dad let me stay up a few years ago, and I think it was about half an hour before the deadline closed, and Matty Taylor completed the switch.
yeah.
I think that made my year. That did.
Brilliant.
I forgot about
the one I had. I'm not sure if it's last minute, but I'm sure Benica Phoebe arrived on a loan deal from Stoke as well. But he was key to you, wasn't he? For a lot of injuries. But if you can remember any more, Aidan Flint as well. I'm sure some people are going to mention as well, who came on to be a massive defender back in the early year. Mikey, what year was Aidan Flint? That's going
to 14, 15, I think.
14, 15, yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Can you beat Matty Taylor, Aidan Flint, or Benica Phoebe for Bristol City deadline day signings? Cheers, you three. Cheers, you two. Enjoy your trip to Derby County once you're back from the holidays anyway, and we'll catch up with you to review all next week. Drop us a subscribe, drop us a like. Thank you so much for watching.